This same person turned right around, called the Pentagon, and the operator they got was a little, I don't know what you'd call it, frazzled. And the guy says, "What's the matter?" And in a miffed attitude, "We can't do our work. There's too many calls. However, they're taking precautions." So, Lord knows what the precautions might be, probably putting an answering machine in place out of self-defense. There's been some other things come about that go right along with that. One of the interesting parts about this is that, I probably shouldn't go into this. This is actually news from a friend of mine by the name of Lady Dragon. Is she on?
No, I haven't found her call. So if Lady Dragon is there, she needs to reach us some other way. I've been monitoring. Denise has been moderating, and we're not seeing her number.
Oh, well, okay. In that case, I'll go ahead with the outing. There was an interview done by a lady with this so-called entity known as Cobra. Cobra obviously is seriously undercover. One of the questions they asked, that the lady asked Cobra, was, you got David Wilcock, you got Ben Fulford and other people, who is in touch with the underground, with the resistance? And Cobra named me out of the list. He also recommended we keep calling. Now, I'd go along with that, except for one thing. We did sort of receive a sort of a reply, and there's a preacher, pastor, out in the woods there somewhere, that I would like to have call in, and he had a discussion with someone he knows in the Pentagon, and I would like confirmation of what that man told him, if possible, sometime during this call. The information came through Paul Thompson, and this might help the guy recognize that I'm tentatively identifying him, so to speak. He said that this certain ranking officer in the Pentagon had confirmed that, yes, there is action to come in very short order. Now, I won't go further than that. This man can elucidate as to what he was told. You get into third and fifth person, and it don't work too well that way. Now, the Cobra interview, remember a lot of people said that on the 21st things would happen. Well, I've noticed that just after Transient of Venus, just after the solstice, things are supposed to happen. Well, this is common knowledge. If anybody knows anything about astronomy or astrology. Now, I'm not talking about the fun and games astrology where your mama's going to kiss you on the ear or whatever kind of thing you read in the paper. Astrology deals with the impacts that solar alignments, celestial alignments, that's anything floating in space, pass-bys, comets, things of this nature, what they mean and how they impact what we are doing here on this planet. There are impacts, and I'll give you a real good example. Back in the past, the moon used to have a lot tighter orbit with the planet. And I'm going to refer to a word that ought to actually wake everybody up considerably. It's called somebody being loony, or the word lunatic, meaning they're squirrely. If you have opposing or complementary fields. And these are planetary fields. They also include gravity and a bunch of other things. And they are in close proximity. It has a tendency to make a person or a living entity, such as an animal, feel like it's going in more than one direction at the same time. So you're going to get something that is kind of schizoid in terms of its reaction to this. Hence, Looney Tunes. Now, everybody might think that a little bit far out, but it can be scientifically verified and has been through various studies. I pushed it to find out if somebody knew. They finally gave me the information, and apparently it's pretty much a fact. If you're around an electromagnetic generator, such as at a power plant, and the sun or the moon is in just the right place, you get some of the same effects. So this is something people are aware of. At certain times of the day, you are to stay away from the generative systems in power plants that generate our electricity for that very reason. In other words, you lose your sensibility to an extent. You also can lose balance, among other things, so it can be dangerous. Now, I'm noticing that these things are all lining up, for one, and that kind of gives me a good feeling. All of this is supposed to go toward the good, no matter what it is. Now, that's information for you people out there that like a little science mixed in with their ETs. That being Cobra and the other being the science. Now, one of the things that has been alluded to is the 21st. Things are supposed to start happening. Well, after the solstice, my goodness, day after, as a matter of fact. I'm going to hold Cobra. I didn't say the 21st. Cobra did. I want you to bear that in mind. But many of the predications that Cobra has made on the blog have been very accurate. According to this, the 21st, some things are supposed to start happening. There were no explanations as to exactly what that is. It could mean all our trash cans are going to fall over at the same time and wake us up or something. I don't know. So I'm going to leave that one out there. And I want you to understand, make sure that you understand, that you know, absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt, I didn't say the 21st. Cobra did. Now, Cobra's been accurate, so I'll leave it at that. Maybe we will start seeing some movement of things. I don't know. So the basis of what I'm talking about is that we are very close. According to this preacher, this person in the Pentagon says in the next few days we're going to start seeing some happenings. Now, if you'll remember, that open letter to the military stated some sort of contact, some form of affirmation, and I gave a basic, give or take 2 weeks, somewhere in that area is what I was guesstimating might be the area things would happen. Apparently, it may be closer than that, which would be fine with me. Yesterday would not have been soon enough. Now, Cobra, in this interview, goes back into some things about the stance, stature, and implications of these supposed ETs that are all over the place. These ETs have been integrated into the military and our general life. You don't know who it is. They look like us, sound like us, act like us. It's hard to tell. So consequently, they've been sort of in hiding. Now, strategically positioning themselves to be able to assist, according to Cobra. So we're supposed to have an extraordinary amount of assistance. This means that a combination of military and civilian, now these can be ETs, we don't know, can put this thing right. It won't take very long to do so. I think I've covered that in some of my previous recordings. Basically, we're supposed to have a notice to me of the situation known as green light. Now I want to make this clear. Green light has not been declared. It has not been issued. At the point it does, it will hit every major news media known to man. This is guaranteed. But I'm to have a 72-hour notice. At the end of a secondary sweep, they're going to make a first sweep, then a secondary sweep, and this is going to be a combination of individuals and records. They want to be sure they get all the goods on everybody, as much as is possible. There are two other sources of documentation that gives names, dates, places, signatures, amounts. Two other sources, not just one, two. And my understanding is that the load of bricks is pretty heavy, and it's going to be dropped on some people's heads. The crux of this is that don't be surprised if suddenly, in the next few days, you get military personnel showing up at your door saying, "Can I talk to you a minute?" And you're going to say, "Should I be talking to you?" And they'll say, "Yes, you should. I've got some information, and I need to ask you some things and show you some information," both at the same time. And I would suggest that you listen to them. The reason I'm going to suggest that is that these are the good guys. You're going to be contacted, and I'm not going to say who or how many. You will find out at the time of the contact. They do know where you live. They know what time you get up and go to bed and all this other stuff. Our little thing called privacy went down the tubes years ago, and the retailers did that for us, and then they decided, hey, we got a market. Who might that be? Hey, man, the military wants to know everything about this dude, color of underwear. I'll bet we could make a few bucks off of that. Yeah. And off and down the road it goes. It's not bad enough they overcharge for what you get anyway. They're going to sell your information unbeknownst to you. So, forget the privacy. It hasn't existed for years. So, these people will come visit. It's going to be a cordial visit. You won't see arms, except maybe a sidearm on the officer. You're not going to see a bunch of people unload from a Humvee or some such and go running off at the corners of the house looking around to see what moves. Basically what you're going to see is you're going to see an officer with an escort. The officer by themselves will come up, knock on the door, ask if they can speak to you, and yeah, what's it about? And, well, you've been designated as a tactical contact. Now, a tactical contact means that you are in some way, shape, or form able to function on a tactical level that is needed by our military in order for them to do the job they've got. They're going to ask you, can you get a hold of your people, and can you look at this area here and take care of this particular thing? And then hand you the map. You won't get orders, not yet. Generally, that won't happen with militias or armed groups. What you'll get is, if you need it, a permission letter, and it'll be signed by a high-level individual. The permission letter means that you have permission to, in the service of your country, secure a certain specific item or area. This is the way this works. Taking this the next step further, that will be about 72 hours before the actual slam dunk, or a few hours. The 72-hour period, they're going to make one sweep, primarily for records, some individuals, and they're going to make a secondary sweep to make sure they didn't miss anything. They're going to check for false panels in the wall, hiding places of different varying kinds, and things of that nature. They will open every safe, no matter who it belongs to, and make sure that nobody's hiding anything out. The records then will be collected. 24 hours before they make their full sweep, or the public arrests, we will be notified. In other words, I will be given a notification to send out the notice. At that point, it's going to go to a combination of people that subscribe to my website. It'll be noted on all of our websites, and I will be on about 6 different mainstream media outlets, give or take. Some of these entail all of the cable companies, some of